As I was saying earlier on, today's topic is about Islam, country and leadership. On the bench today, Sheikh Ibrahim Lethome is a religious scholar, and Hussein Khalid is Executive Director of Haki Kenya. Thank you, gentlemen, once again for being on the show. And let's start with you, Sheikh. The state of the nation today. There are so many issues affecting this nation. Every time we think we're taking one step forward, it seems to be two steps backwards.
Yeah. Very unfortunate, Jeff, but this is the situation we find ourselves in. And you know, from a religious point of view, we say that sometimes problems that face us as human beings, that because of what we have done with our own hands. And God will not change the situations of our people until the people they themselves take steps. God helps us, but we also have to make our own efforts, and then God will help us. We say, tie your camel, and then trust in God. So I think something somewhere is not right. We are not tying the camel. So what do we need to do? Throw in the towel? No. We have no other country to go to, Jeff. Do you have any other country to go to?
None.
This is our home. God intended this place for us, and we have all the resources. A beautiful country with many resources. I saw you showing us a pool that is shaped like Africa.
A natural
Yes, I was watching that.
Yes.
Beautiful country with so many resources, but I think it's we human beings have put ourselves into the situation we're in today. Is all lost? No. I think it's the high time we come, sit down and ask ourselves, where did the rain start beating us? Today and yesterday, we've been looking for goats for slaughter because this is a season for slaughtering goats in memory of what our father Abraham did when he was ordered by God to sacrifice his son. And the prices, Jeff, you can't imagine. Last year, we were buying goats for around 6,000, 7,000, but now it's double that.
Good.
I bought one for 13,000 shillings.
One goat?
Yes, one goat. A small one, not a big one. A big one would even go for 15,000 Kenya shillings. That's how the situation we are in. So many people actually are not even able to perform that sacrifice, which we do in this season, so that we can help the poor and the needy. So that is the situation we are in. And I think we have our priorities wrong, Jeff, in this country. We need to sit down as a country and ask ourselves, where did the rain start beating us? What can we do so that the country does not go to the dogs?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hussein Khalid, I saw you nodding for the most part. You agree with this?
Totally, totally, Jeff. I think life has become extremely, extremely difficult for many Kenyans out there. And for most of us who, operate outside the Nairobi area, every other day, because we are used to getting things by, making ends meet, more or less. Fixing here, taking this, putting this there, and all that. But even that has become extremely difficult. In Mombasa today, as Sheikh has said, the number of people or homes that sacrificed goats, you can barely count them because it's not happening. And this is not just now. It has been coming, unfortunately. Life has become so difficult, and not just for those who are poor and maybe those who are vulnerable, but also for the middle class, even the affluent. I don't know, Jeff, your suits seem expensive, so I don't know.
It's old stuff.
How much?
I'm recycling. I am recycling, bro. Nikubaya, bro.
Nikubaya everywhere.
And for you, Hussein, it's even worse because you've just come from a horrific situation that's been happening in this country. And we know it's been happening for a while.
Yes.
Shakahola didn't just happen overnight. And we see you on TV almost every night because you're there front and center. Explain to us, what has it been like for you?
It's very, very challenging, Jeff. We work at the grassroots. We work with people who are, those who have their feet on the ground. And every other day, you go to a home, you want to follow up on issues to do with human rights, governance, and all that. But everyone gets back to you and tells you at the end of the day, could you help me with just 300 shillings? I need to feed my family. And I know that for a while, as civil society and as human rights practitioners, we have been, trying to get people away from that and addressing, because we always tell people, if we address the macro issues, then the micro issues will take care of themselves. But right now, you truly can feel the pain in Kenyans when they tell you, we don't even have food, to put on the table. at the end of the day. So now you're left, when we went to Shakahola, for example, we were wondering what was happening. But many of those people also would tell you, they had no other means to survive. And that was an opportunity for them, because here was someone who was offering a piece of land, somewhere you could get, at least a community that could take care of you. But then at the end of the day, you find yourself in this, indoctrination of some sort. And then seeing a mother, for me, telling a story of how she watched 3 of her children starve to death. It begs the question, what really informed her to take those steps? Yeah, and for them, I think for majority of them, it was like, if this is going to take us to a better place, if we are being promised that, beyond this life, there's a better life, it's very easy. Because where you are presently, it's so hard. Life is, everywhere you look at, there is nothing forthcoming. So then you find solace in these false promises that I'm going somewhere better. I'm actually going to be living in a mansion with gardens flowing with, rivers of milk and all that. It's so easy then to get people into that frame of thinking, because where they are presently, it's really, really, really horrifying. And that's, for me, the crux of the matter. Because how then do we move from where we are to the next step, as you said, the one step forward? How do we get to that one step?
Sheikh, are we that desperate? Has it become that desperate?
Yeah, unfortunately, that is the situation we're in. And then looking at religion and how religion can be misused. Jeff, I said the power of religion. If used properly, then it will take us towards the right direction. If misused, Shakahola. You remember of Kanungu in southern Uganda?
Correct.
And for me, when I look at it as a religious leader, it's like this. Religion is very emotive. To all of us, Jeff, religion also is unquestionable. To many people, once you're convinced that this is religion, God has said this, you don't question. Many people don't question. Although I believe I should question, because God gave me the intellect, I should think, is this right? Should God really wants me to stay hungry and watch my child die? And then that is my path or my ticket or my visa to heaven? I need to reason. But for many people, it's unquestionable. Then that promise beyond this world, the promise of, they call it cosmic. It is cosmic, beyond this world. You just heard Khalid saying here, they have been promised a better life beyond this world. So you suffer for a while, then you're going to that better life there. And then you see, when people are desperate, then people with this kind of ideologies, misleading ideologies, and it could be any religion, even our own religion has been misused by such people. When people are desperate, they become very vulnerable. They have nothing to lose anyway here. They are dying anyway. They are suffering. Then somebody comes in the name of religion and tells them there is a better life there. But the way to that life is starve to death. I don't want to call it fasting, because fasting has a religious connotation and a basis in religion, and we don't fast to die, Jeff. Right. We fast to earn the virtues, and it's not beyond what is humanly possible. Nowhere in religion are you told to starve to death. I call that starving to death. So when our people are so desperate, and Jeff, we are watching this space, at the end of all this exercise, maybe we'll be able to tell these people what social status do they belong in this country. And believe me, Jeff, most of them are poor people, desperate people. Yeah. And then they were told, here is hope for you. And that is what is happening. So unless those people in power, those people we have entrusted with the responsibilities to manage our resources in this country on our behalf, because they are doing that on our behalf, the country belongs to all of us, the resources belong to all of us, but we have entrusted to a few to manage those resources. If they do not do something, we'll keep on seeing many Shakaholas. They will exploit the situation. We'll see many violent extremist groups exploiting our people because they are desperate. And when somebody is desperate, they will do all these odd things. Somebody was even asking me, kweni walifanyiwa mazinga ombwe? For me, no, mazinga. You don't need mazinga ombwe. The recipe is desperation. People with no hope in this life, it's very easy to use religion or misuse religion and take them to where you are. So unless we do something, we'll see many Shakaholas. But the question also I keep on asking, and I was even asking Khalid as you were waiting to come in here, where was government when all this was happening? That is a question, Khalid, that I'll keep on asking you and many other people.
Go on, Khalid.
And we did ask the CS Kindiki when he came to the ground. And he promised us, and I think he was live on television, saying that there will be accountability. And this is what we are waiting for. Because in Shakahola, you have at least 2 or 3 police stations where these issues were reported. And we have OB numbers, we have everything. You have the OCPD who was there. You have the chief. In some cases, you have burial permits that were issued.
What?
Yeah. You have assistant chiefs. You have community policing. You have Nyumba Kumi.
Okay, okay.
Over 300 so far confirmed dead.
Yeah.
And this didn't happen over a 10-year period.
Okay.
This happened, we were told, you know, according to the pathologists, the ones who dug the body, said latest should be January 2023. January this year. Okay. Yeah, majority of them, you know, January, February, and maybe many March moving forward. So then the question is, what happened? And where were these guys in authority? And we're still waiting for the CS, because he told us, he assured us that there will be accountability. And we are waiting to see those that were in office at that point in time. Because when this matter was reported to us, Jeff, people had already reported to the police, but the police were doing nothing. So they came to our Malindi office and said, the old man said, 2 of my grandchildren, I think, are gone. Now there is 1 left. You have to help me. And we said, yeah, of course, definitely. We went to the police station. The police station was like, these people, religious people, you know, they always bring cases here. Yeah. They're always fighting. They're always accusing each other. Haki Africa, these guys are disturbing you. Just go home. But, you know, we were not, you know, content with that answer. And we said, no, we have to do something. And we agreed with the family, the old man and 1 or 2 youth. And we agreed, let's just go there. And when you went there, we met a hostile group. You know, violence kidogo hapa na pale, but the old man was adamant, said, I'm not leaving here until I get my grandson. And that is what actually began this whole process, because he refused to leave. Even when we were telling him, let's just go, he said no, until they gave him the boy. And then they were like, never come back here. Now it's that boy who went back and told the story to the police. And then everything unfolded. But
the boy was obviously had he been starved?
He was very weak. He was extremely weak. He you know, not dead completely. But you know, he was telling us the story of how his 2 brothers had died, how he was trying to sneak food to his brothers, and then when the mother saw him, she was, you know, beating him, saying, don't do that. And, you know, and I mean, at Shakahola, the stories I've heard, because different people coming in from different places. This father who had 3 sons, 21, 17, and 14, I believe. And he said his brother came to him and told him, we have these keshas, you know, let me have your sons and let me go and, you know, it's a religious activity and all that. And he was like, oh, cool. My brother wants good for my kids. Obviously, you know, they're going to a religious event and all that. And, you know, he said, we'll be somewhere in Malindi and, you know, we may not have network or something like that. So he didn't worry much because he knew this is his brother. I mean, what could the brother do to his children? Only for them, after a few weeks, to hear of Shakahola, Malindi and all that. And then the wife was like, where are our children? So he starts calling the brother. The brother is not picking. So the wife said, go get me my children, my 3 sons, go get them. So when we met him, we were driving back from Shakahola, you know, and he was just in the vehicle. We had given him a lift back to Malindi. And he looked so puzzled, so confused because he came with photos. And he said he showed because initially, you know, before this, all police and everything, it was much easier when it was just the local police. And he said he showed some of the rescued people the photos of his sons. And they told him, yeah, we know those boys, those 3 boys. In fact, those were amongst the first ones to die.
Oh, God.
Oh.
You know?
Sheikh, what does this say about the leadership? And not just at the national level, but even at that local level. What does it say about the leadership?
I think, to say the least here, is they're guilty of omission. They're guilty of omission if they are not accomplices. Because, you know, how can it happen in a country that, you know, the systems that we have in this country, it's up to the grassroots. We have chiefs, we have even the Nyumba Kumis and the rest, community policing. How could this happen? You know, that shows us that we need to do something about our security. People who have been given the responsibility to ensure that people are safe, you know, to ensure also that, you know, people are talking about freedom of worship. And Jeff, what I keep on saying, there is no absolute freedom. I have the freedom to walk and swing my hands, but that freedom ends where your nose begins. I should not swing them and hit your nose, Jeff, or Hussein's. So even the freedom of worship has a limitation. And who is supposed to make sure that freedoms are not abused? The people we pay our taxes to. Because the police are paid to ensure nobody misuses some of these freedoms. Because by exercising the freedom of worship, there is a violation of the freedom to life. Because the right to life, these people have a right to life. And you know, Jeff, we all belong to the government of Kenya. That's why even when you go outside the country, the passport that you carry is, you know, is a document that shows you need to be protected even when you're out there. So I think the government needs to take care of our people. Where is our intelligence? I thought we have one of the most trained, well-trained, very professional intelligence. Where were they until 300 people killed
so far
and
counting.
So far and counting. Yeah. So you wonder, what is wrong? What is wrong with us? And again, for a person to be able to do that, even the citizen, because we say also security begins with me and you, Jeff. Are there no people who are seeing this thing happening?
Right.
All in the name of God, and people are dying, people are disappearing. Can't you be your brother's keeper? I thought we are each other's keeper. So the government is to blame because the primary duty of ensuring the safety of the people and their property rests with the government. Where are the neighbors, the people around there? I want to believe there are people who saw it, that don't care attitude that we have as Kenyans. I think we need to change. Jeff, I am very much in the space of trying to look at violent extremism in this country and of some of the drivers of radicalization into violent extremism. And then we compare our country with a country like Ethiopia. Jeff, I'm sure you know, and Hussein here, Ethiopia has a longer border with Somalia than we do. It's very long, up to Djibouti.
Correct.
Ethiopia has a porous border with Somalia, just like we do. Ethiopia has a community, an ethnic community that is in both countries. A whole region, Ogadenia, is the Somalis who live there. Have you ever heard of Ethiopia being attacked by violent? Al-Shabaab will not dare attack. Hussein, I know you're in that field, that space also. You'll never. So I've been asking why. And they tell us, very simple. In Mandera, the border is River Dawa. They can tell when the person coming here is not an Ethiopian. And a girl herding goats sees a stranger, will tell the mother, Mom, there is a stranger here. The next stop for the mother will be a police post. We have a stranger here. And you'll be pursued, you'll be followed. Do we operate like that in Kenya?
No.
No, we don't. So our community police, and maybe patriotic. Are we patriotic? Do we love this country, Jeff? Jeff, do you love your country?
Oh, goodness. More than any other.
More
than anything.
Yeah, then it's just lip service that we are giving to this country. I think we don't love this country. I think we should be more patriotic and love this country so that each one of us, you know, we can say we don't have police to be in every corner, in every village, in every home. We should also be policing. We should be each other's keeper. We see somebody misusing religion, killing people. We should raise the alarm. Again, the attitude of the police. Hussein is just telling you. Hussein is a renowned person in what he's doing in this country and beyond. He goes to a police station and complains, but he's brushed off. But because he's persistent, I think Hussein is because of your persistence. Otherwise, this would have just gone. You know?
Gone away.
Yeah, gone away. Yeah. So maybe attitude also of the people in charge. You know, you just treat things as normal. And then people with these bad ideologies, they know that we take things easy and they take advantage of that.
Absolutely. Speaking of religious extremism, Hussein, you know this. Look what's happening in Lamu now. Out of the blue, now Lamu is being attacked. 20 people killed in the last 1 month.
And I read, I think it was on Citizen Twitter, 200 families have now fled.
Correct.
From that area for fears of further attacks. And that's the question. And I agree with Sheikh here that we have to be patriotic. But the question is, Kiswahili tunajivunia ama tunavumilia?
Maybe.
That's the question. Because right now, everyone is busy trying to make ends meet. They're trying to look for this and to look for that. They're probably saying, I have my own problems, before I start looking for a stranger and going to report and all that. But I agree that we are supposed to do that. But is that normal Kenyan out there, down there right now in maybe Shakahola community, does he have that time? Or is he busy looking for cassava to feed his or her family? And that's the question we need to ask ourselves. What is this government doing, or what is the state, because it's much broader than just the executive, what are they doing to help Kenyans come out of this situation? And, for example, if you're talking about the finance bill, is this the right time to introduce? It's now an act, the president has assented to it. Yeah. Was this the right time to do it? With everything, prices of commodities skyrocketing, the world, everywhere you go, people are trying, and governments are trying to actually reduce the cost of living. And we are here today, and we have a legislature that actually supports overburdening the citizen. We have to ask ourselves, because these people are asking, yes, I'll be patriotic and I'll try and fight and die for my country. Many Kenyans are ready to do that. But are the leaders giving back what is deserved to them? And that's the question we need to ask ourselves. Are we as Kenyans happy with the state of affairs? Because the person or the people who are running the state presently is the government. Are Kenyans happy with the government? The promises that were made and everything that we were told will happen. Look at the price of unga today. Yeah. Look at the price of sugar today. So I agree that we need to find it somewhere in our hearts to do more and to give more back to our country. I think it was said, ask not what the country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
Okay, correct.
Definitely, and we are all into that. But sometimes you have to sit back and ask yourself, okay, so I don't know, Jeff, what salary bracket you're in, but 30% or 35%, are you getting service worth that amount that you'll be giving? I was in Citizen, I think the last time I was here, there was, I think someone had been mugged just outside the gate here. What? Yeah, just outside the gate here at Citizen. I think I was with Ayub, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. And they were talking about someone who was just mugged just outside this lane here at Citizen. Yeah. So the question is, okay, we have these cuts and we're happy to give back. In many countries, the countries where taxes are high, you can see the services. I think people are talking about Singapore just a few weeks back. But you can see where Singapore is. You have services. In my home in Mombasa, the last time we had running water from the tap, I'm from Old Town, it must have been 20 years back, Lord, when we had water from the tap. And this is Mombasa. Yeah. We're not talking about Shakahola or any other place. This is the second city, the oldest town in this country. And the last time we had water running from our taps was 20 years back. So then you're asking yourselves, where is all this money going to? The country is in debt, hundreds of billions or something like that. Yes. So where is all this money going to? But every other day you see the motorcade. I think there was a video. A clip, I saw that. Clip that went, you just see four-wheel drive vehicles. I think there were 30 or 42, something like that. I counted 42. 42. I counted 42. And then here we're sitting and we're asking Kenyans, you need to be patriotic, you need to give back, pay taxes. Ushuru ni kulipa ushuru ni? Ni kujitegemea. Ni kujitegemea. Is that me jitegemearing, or is that the 42 bosses jitegemearing themselves? So we have to ask these difficult questions, and Kenyans must get answers. Yeah, because where we are, at the brink, and we are feeling like this is a bit too much. And the government has to listen. And there comes a time when you now have to say, okay, enough is enough. We need to do something. We need to give people a break.
Sheikh, yes, are they listening? Are they listening to the pleas? Because these are genuine cries of the people.
Yeah, I'm sure they're hearing, but they're not heeding because it's not affecting them. Jeff, when he complains about water in Mombasa, who is being affected by that problem? It's the ordinary Mwananchi who is having that problem. He's talking about water. I've just come from Kajiado, my home. Actually, on the way, my wife called me and told me, please leave me with money because tomorrow I have to bring this water bowsers. Yet we are connected to water. There is a problem. So they're listening, but they're not heeding. They're busy doing other things. I think they have their priorities wrong. The priorities are wrong. Now, comparing ourselves with Singapore, Jeff, it's good, okay, to benchmark with other people. But the question we need to ask ourselves is this: what did they do right and what are we doing wrong? I was in Singapore. I work with the CPF and I was taken there for a training. And I looked at the country for the 2 weeks that I was there. What? At independence, we were ahead of these people. We even actually, I think, assisted them with something.
Yes.
Then I decided, because a minister was brought in to talk to us. Then I asked them, how do you deal with corruption by public servants here? And he said, I can't remember when we last had such a case of corruption. You know, he was trying to jog his memory. But Jeff, if I was to ask you here, the last, as the finger, they're all there.
It was yesterday or today.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine
every day.
This minister could not remember the last time
they had a corruption case.
Wow. Because it's even so shameful to talk about corruption by a public servant, a person entrusted with the public resources. No. So, what have we done about corruption? We have a commission specifically, you know, it's in the Constitution, that commission to fight corruption. But we're still there. And Jeff, next time I want to vie for the top seat in this country, you know what I'll tell you, Jeff?
Go on.
If you give him a chance, I'll do it here. Mukini Chagua, within the first 100 days, nitamaliza corruption. Zero corruption. Now, then I'll get the votes. You know, Kenyans, I think we are so gullible. So for me, we need to think about some of the things that are taking us back. We are paying taxes, but we are not getting the services. Corruption is in the middle of this. How do we deal with this animal that even the mighty PLO Lumumba was not able to slay?
Yes.
And actually, he was almost devoured by that.
By the dragon.
By the dragon,
yes.
As he said. So this is where I think we have it wrong. So now,
can you imagine Jomo Kenyatta International Airport and you can't pay for parking? Can you imagine that? Because, I don't know, the M-Pesa bill or something, it's not working.
Oh, yeah, it's not working.
No.
This is the international airport, our biggest international airport.
Of the region.
Yeah, I mean, you travel to other countries. Even Tanzania have a better airport than ours. In Ethiopia, Bole Airport.
Kigali.
Look at our airport. It has been the same, I think, for 40 or 50 years. What is the Kenya airport? Sometimes even the lights, you know, you're so embarrassed. Sometimes you travel, you go abroad, and then you're coming back with colleagues, and one light is working, the next on the runway, the other one is not working, and then the other one is working, and then 3 are not working. You're like, what's happening? And these leaders, majority of them travel. I think the other day I was seeing a video, I think it was a Senegalese minister in some foreign countries. And the nationals in that country were beating him up, telling him, you guys have stolen all the money, you're not, you know, and God forbid, we don't advocate for such. But, you know, these are the things, because people, when they're out there, they're seeing, because most leaders, when they travel and they see what's happening, they want that for their country. They come back and they say, we've seen this, we need to do this, we need to do that. The problem with Kenyan leaders, even when they go out, they come back, they come up with ideas, but for them, those ideas to steal. They'll put in this project, we want to do this, and then when the money comes, it goes to their pockets. That is, you know, so embarrassing. But for me, our airports, and we're not just talking about JKIA, almost all our airports, compare them with, have you seen Wilson? Potholes on the runway and all that. And yet, we have a government in power. How are they not seeing this?
And they fly from Wilson a lot.
And they fly from Wilson. You have members of parliament, you have cabinet secretaries. Why are they not seeing this? And where the question is, where is all the money going to? We are collecting, and I think KRA said they surpassed their target at some point. So where is all this money going to?
tell me something. What happened at JKIA with the paying? What did one do if you couldn't pay? Then what?
So I think it was the day before yesterday. So I asked this guy, so what's happening? Why can't I pay? They're like, you have to go to the pay point. But of course, you have to first do the online thing so that you know the amount.
Right.
When you know the amount and then you go, you put that thing. And there's only, I don't know, 1 or 2 somewhere. Oh. That's where you have to pay. Oh. And then they say there's a pay bill. And then he tells you, yeah, that pay bill should have been there. It should have been on that. You know, when you get a receipt, it tells you to pay star, I don't know, 48, something like that. But then it's not there. He says they should put that one there. Like, so how will people know that this is how it's supposed to be?
And if you're in a hurry, of course, if you're in a hurry.
JKIA, can you imagine? And it's not, it has been there for a while now.
Yeah.
It's not a one-day thing or a week thing or a month. It has been there for a while.
Imagine
Jeff.
if you're a first-time visitor to Kenya now.
Imagine.
The first impression is so negative.
Right.
But Jeff, you know, let me now point back to ourselves. You know, none of these leaders, Hussein, elected themselves. Who elected them?
No, it's
we
true.
put them into office.
It's true.
Now, what did we look at as we gave them our votes? Kabila yangu? Yes. Mtuwetu. It doesn't matter what kind of a person they are. Yeah. My political party, or if this person goes in there, what chances do I have of getting that tender, you know, or that job? This is what. So actually, you know, in Arabic we say, bima kasabat aidina. This is what, with our own hands, we have brought to ourselves. Because leadership is not their courtesy of themselves. Leadership is their courtesy of you, Jeff, your vote, my vote, and Hussein's vote. I think as Kenyans, we need to ask ourselves, who does this country belong to? It belongs to all of us. Yeah. These leaders are there. If you look at the Constitution, it's very clear. They exercise those powers on our behalf. Yeah. They manage those resources on behalf of the 50+ million Kenyans in this country. So who puts them there? Me and you. What do we look at as we elect our leaders? We have got it wrong completely. So for me, if you ask me, Khalid, and now I'm going to be very spiritual, please, allow me.
Please.
Number one, a person who fears God, who knows that I am answerable for this position. And you know, for me, I don't fear telling them this. One day, sooner than later, or even if it's later, you're not going to live as much as Nabi Noah lived in this world. Noah lived for, according to the Quran, I don't know in the Bible, 950 years in this world. Yeah. But eventually he went, and he had to go and account for what he did in this world. We've seen leaders who have come and gone. And before, as religious people, we believe you'll be answerable for the position. Jeff, you know you'll be answerable for JKLIVE. What you did, yes, you'll be answerable for what you did.
What's there to answer? I mean...
No. Did you use this bench for the benefit of Kenyans, for your own benefit? Because this is a resource also.
Correct.
You've been put here. You're doing a good job. Keep up the good work. Don't worry. Relax.
He was worried.
Yeah, because if, let's say, if you're going to use this bench, for example, to promote conflict between Kenyans, you'll be answerable for that.
Absolutely.
If you're going to allow somebody to come here and, talk, bad about other people and promote ethnicity, negative ethnicity, that's wrong. That's what I'm telling you. Hussein Khalid here is he's dealing with human rights. If he uses his position wrongly, he'll be answerable. Hussein, and you've no doubt in your mind, you'll be answerable. My position as a religious leader, I'll be answerable. So all of us are answerable. So if today we decide as Kenyans, come next elections, I know you might say, Sheikh, hiyo ni mbali sana, but you know they're preparing for 2020.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
We speak.
I was asking him, recently I saw 2 young politicians, I don't want to mention their names, they were almost fighting in public. And then I asked Hussein, what was that? 2027. Oh my. Not the water for the people of Mombasa. They are not fighting over water for Mombasa. It is 2027. So it's not too early for us to plan for 2027, also for a good cause for this country, to rescue this country. If we can agree as Kenyans, come 2027, we are putting men and women in position, those who fear God and know that they are answerable to God. Because they will know that this is a trust. The position that I hold is a trust. I'll be answerable. And these resources I have here, they are not mine. I don't want to use ile siya mama yako. You know, somebody used that one time. Yes. But I'm almost forced to say that. Yes. It's ours. It belongs to this state. You are there as a trustee. Use it properly. But it's only a person who fears God and knows that. And you know, they always come to us for prayers when they want elections.
Exactly, at that moment.
At that moment.
After that,
but
they
after
forget
that,
you.
they forget us. So I think we need to tell Kenyans, chagueni mtu ambaye anaogopa Mungu next time.
And Sheikh.
Hold on, Hussein. I want to take a break and come back and talk exactly about that. What is it about once you get into leadership, you forget everything else. You forget God.
Yeah.
What is it? Let's talk about that. We're having a great conversation, folks, on this day. Is it Eid al-Adha?
Eid al-Adha.
Eid al-Adha.
Yeah.
Meaning the great sacrifice.
Yes, that's okay, yeah.
Time to sacrifice, folks. Think about it. We have only one country right here, and these gentlemen are talking frankly about it. Sheikh Ibrahim Lethome, Hussein Khalid of Haki Africa. This is what we're talking about. This is the kind of conversation we need to have, and we're going to continue it after this break. Keep tweeting at Koinange Jeff, at Citizen TV Kenya, the hashtag JKLIVE. JKLIVE takes a break. We'll be back in a moment.